This is going to be a good one that we all want to go back and revisit. So Susan, hey, good morning.
Good.
Before we get started, we're going to thank Susan because Susan went out and found us. She didn't go out and find us. She's been working with McKaylee, but she found us a professional stager to come on our call to not only talk to us about some strategies that we should know about, some tips, but also to answer questions that you guys might have. But before we get into that, Susan is one of our GPS members that we love very dearly. Thank you so much for taking your time out to do this call with us. And I'm going to turn it over to you. And we also have Rainey, and we're going to hear from Rainey in a little bit as well, guys. But Susan, the floor is yours now.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, when Tiffany put out there, hey, does anybody know a great home stager? I said, oh my God, me. And here's why. As a professional real estate agent, we look for ways to best serve our clients. And I'm telling you, home staging is one of the ways we can do it. Now, whether it's just simply rearranging their personal items to make sure that, everything looks well, is in place, not cluttered, all the way up to a full-blown home staging with every room, top notch, looking its best, on trend with what's selling in the market today. And I was fortunate enough to meet McKaylee when I first got into the industry. And I've literally had homes where she staged and people walked in and says, I want everything, leave everything as is, down to a soap dish, no joke, down to a soap dish they want it. And that's how professional staging can make a difference. We also, we had a friend who was in South Florida trying to list one of his own homes in our area. So he was an out of area MLS agent, sat on the market forever. And he came to us and asked us, hey, can you co-list it with us to at least get it on the MLS in your market? And we said, absolutely. And one of the first things we said is, but you've got to stage it, because it was an empty house. And so literally after it had been sitting on the market for months, McKaylee came in, staged it, we put it on the market, and within 24 hours, it was sold. I mean, so that, and I really don't, I'd say it wasn't because it all of a sudden got into an in-area MLS, because we know as agents, we can search all over Florida very easily. And if we want an area, we just simply search that area. So I credit McKaylee 100% for being able to make that happen. And statistically, I know your guests on here who do professional staging can give you the statistics about how much higher a home does sell for because it is professionally staged. So it's just a wonderful tool that we can have in our toolbox to make us look good, but they're doing all the heavy lifting. I'm telling you, I've called McKaylee and literally she'll be 2 o'clock in the morning staging a home to make sure it's ready for the next day, open house, reveal, whatever is happening. She does her best to make sure that that's possible. Is McKaylee on with us yet, Tiffany?
Yes, she is.
Awesome. Well, I'd love McKaylee to come up, just introduce herself, be able to share with us what she does and how she helps us as professionals make our lives that much easier and that much better and getting paid more. So McKaylee, if you'll unmute yourself and come on with us, we'd appreciate it.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much, Susan. You are incredible to work with. And now I have the biggest smile after your testimony. You're incredible. So thank you so much. My name is McKaylee. I own 321 Home Staging and Interior Design. I started my company 4 years ago. I originally came from the metropolitan area. I did luxury high-rise buildings in Manhattan as well as Atlanta. And actually, unfortunately, I know you guys had asked me, where's my background? And you want me to talk about that. So I had a really tragic accident in the middle of a contract that I was in Atlanta that left me unable to walk and unable to talk. And a lot of my cognitive therapy literally happened in the aisles of Target. And I ended up literally becoming a hoarder at this point because I was going to Target every day to learn to walk and learn to talk and learn numbers and learn how to calculate things. And I finally took a look around and I looked at my mom and I said, well, if I don't become a home stager now, I'm officially a hoarder. So I think it's time. And I knew that I was going to be staying down in the Florida area. So it was just important for me to take my expertise and everything that I learned from large metropolitan areas and bring it down here and truly show the value and the worth behind staging. And not only that, but to really mentor agents to be able to do it themselves. So that way it's also affordable for you. I know that we have a mutual friend, Susan, that she always has like the coolest testimony when working with us. We actually went in to a house that she could not get appraised, and she needed 262 in order to get her buyer to move. And the first two contracts came in at 210 and 214, and she was like, I don't know what to do, it's a house full of stuff, what am I going to do? So I literally went in and did a quick 2-hour consultation with this agent. I basically trained her on decluttering and just being able to judge the home. We did not bring in one additional item to that house. She ended up going back underneath the contract. Not only did it not pull through, but it actually appraised at 289. So that was kind of amazing because it ended up being close to $30,000 over what she needed on top of it. And literally it was just us and an agent learning how to put a little bit of elbow grease into a listing and just make it look better. And this was way before this crazy market. So to say that staging brings a value, even when just redesigning that home from anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000, we have the testimonies to prove it.
Absolutely. So when somebody hires a home stager as an agent, what can they expect on that first meeting with you?
So there is a small process. So basically, Susan, for example, would reach out to me and she would say, hey, McKaylee, I have a listing. I want you to come take a look at it. If you're local, me or somebody on my team, one of the designers will come up and we will do a walkthrough. And we will create you a proposal and get you on the schedule. It actually happens pretty quickly. Now, I know a lot of you guys, if you're interested in using us outside of Brevard County, we absolutely do that. I literally have a stage happening in New York City in 2 weekends. So we will travel anywhere for this, but especially in Florida, we will totally go. And from you, all I simply need is a walkthrough video. We'll be able to get a genuine proposal off of that, get you on the schedule. And then literally it's about a day-long process. So especially if we're traveling out of county, we say, give us the whole day, let us do our magic, schedule your photography for the following. Oh no, my alarm's going off. Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, we will schedule your photography and then you will literally be live within 24 hours with what looks like a brand new spanking listing.
Absolutely. And how long do you typically leave your stuff in there for?
So typically it's for 60 days. And I know that in this market, a lot of people is like, okay, well, it's not going to last 60 days. That's okay. Because God forbid something did fall through. We don't want to pull sooner. I can never stress to clients enough, especially if you're doing your own home staging. Don't just pull stuff out of your house and put it in there and then quickly take it back. Leave it there through the appraisal. It makes a world of difference when it comes down to appraisal, especially in a market where we don't have a lot of comps for them to go off of. So they're literally relying on their senses. And that visual is so incredibly important and so detrimental to being able to meet that appraisal in this crazy high price market. So I can't stress enough, leave it in there until appraisal. We also always do our agents the courtesy. If you're under contract and you're going past your 60 days, we don't charge you your month to month. We do that as a good faith, as saying, you know what, hey, we're here for you. We want to support you. Let's go ahead and keep it in there. So that way, you are getting your highest and best appraisal.
Awesome. Well, I know in using you, I am a repeat client. And I know that's one of the things that is a benefit of using you is that we get to know each other. You are literally part of my team. You are part of my toolbox, so to speak, to help me get the highest and best, as you said, for the sellers. You know, I know you said you serve all over. Tiffany, is it okay if I get McKaylee to share her information on how people get in touch with her?
Yes, please do. You can put that into the chat as well, because some of us are going to be commuting as well, and it might just be easier to copy and paste that way.
Haley, I know I am not in Brevard, which is a plus in the sense that you'll come and serve our team. We're pretty much central and south of Brevard. And so it's exciting to know that you and your team members will serve and come, you know, and I know that we're a couple hours from you, but you still do it and you still do it faithfully. So if somebody in the Central Florida or even New York or Las Vegas or wherever you will travel to wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
So honestly, we're gonna get my personal cell phone number, which don't be surprised if I respond back at 11 o'clock at night sometimes, just because, just like Susan said, I don't just own a staging company. I am literally hands-on with my team of 11, 24/7. So best way to reach me is 321-243-7829. Now you can always email me as well at 321homestaging@gmail.com. And one of my team members will respond to you. But if you really want to get fast, quick service, shoot me a text message. I am more than happy to respond to you whenever I'm not carrying a sofa.
Awesome. Will you give out that cell phone number one more time?
Yes, it is 321-243-7829.
It's awesome too. And I'm telling you, having a home stager as a business partner is one of the most powerful partnerships that you can have in the industry. So if McKaylee isn't in your area, or if you're already working with a home stager, take them to lunch, because I'm telling you, it can actually make a difference in your business. Get to know them, let them know that you want to be a regular partner with them, because the more you partner with them, it just, the more your business will flourish. I'm just speaking from experience on that. So McKaylee, we appreciate it. Is there anything else an agent should know that we don't know?
I don't know, other than EXP rocks. So
I've got two questions for you, McKaylee. One of them is mine, and one of them is from the chat. The chat says, who pays for staging costs? So typically, from what you've seen, how are you as the professional stager being compensated, and at what point during the transaction?
Absolutely. So here's the thing. We get paid at the time of staging. Obviously, there's legalities that if that home was to close and we don't have payment, we actually legally can't collect payment at that point. So just to be safe, we always collect at the beginning of staging. Now, a lot of times I have seen agents do so many different things. Obviously, depending on your commissions, some pay out of pocket, some front the money for their clients and then take it out of closing. Some, the clients are more than willing to pay for it. So it really truly depends on you and how you present it within your package. Just like Susan said, how I'm a part of her team. Literally, she goes to listing appointments with me as her secret weapon. I have a lot of agents that do that, which helps them stand above the rest when it comes down to getting listing. And because she's a frequent flyer, we do deeply discounted rates for her as well. So that's something that you can also talk to a home stager. And if you're like, hey, you're a great local home stager and I want to connect with you, is there anything that you can do if I could provide you 12 listings a year? Talk to them and see what they can do for bulk packages, because a lot of times, Susan, my rates are so low that you typically pay out of pocket. And it's not too bad, and it really does make you shine. And then if not, like I said, there's always that the client still will pay. I've literally never had a client ever say, I'm not paying, because if you properly translate it and say, hey, we're listing your house at $550, but with staging, you can probably get $600. They're going to translate a $1,600 staging cost versus $50,000 and totally go to get that $50,000. So as long as that client has that money on hand and you don't need to front it for them, typically they are totally fine with it. And then they almost always say yes to taking it out of closing. So even if you're coming up with that money up front, don't think that you're going to be out that money or it's reducing your commissions or the integrity of your work, because that's not the case. Always put it back on the client, because they typically always say yes.
Thank you. And then the next question is, if an agent wanted to become better at staging, where would you suggest they turn?
So definitely Ross. Ross is awesome, Target, things like that. And you're going to do an essential kit. And if you guys want to reach out to me, I can literally send you a checklist. In the apartment industry, we always did these things called MIDI models. So basically, if you kept some bar stools on hand in your house, some decor for the kitchen, towels for the bathroom, tie them up with just some twine. It makes a world of difference. And just create a sense of feel through each room to create emotion so that your buyer can connect to it, as well as the appraiser. So really, you can shop locally and inexpensively. I'm telling you, I love Ross because they have some really luxury looking items for low cost, and you can keep them in totes in your car. It's so simple. When we worked in the apartment industry, we had different designs and we had maybe 2 or 3 totes for each unit. And it just made a world of difference. It brought life and color. You don't even have to go as far as hanging up art or actually placing furniture in, as long as you can accessorize with really cute items.
Thank you. Any other questions, you guys, while we have McKaylee on the call?
And don't forget to declutter. That's a huge thing. It's a huge thing. And you can always let your stager be the bearer of bad news and be the bad guy by telling your clients that they have to declutter. We're resilient at this. I've had to fight a few grandmas, but it's fine. We can get it done. So yeah, they end up loving us in the end. So I promise it works.
That is a true story. If you do as an agent, you allow your home stager to be the bad guy, so to speak, you still remain the guy in the scenario of, oh my God, what the crap do you have going on here?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Deep, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I got a comment and a question. First question is, can we just stage just the living room area or just a one master bedroom? Is that possible?
Absolutely. If it is an awkward room, I always encourage staging. I will always also save clients money based upon if it's a home that I just see that the common areas need because maybe it's an open concept floor plan, I'm going to tell them don't worry about staging the bedrooms. If it's a common sense area, don't worry about that. The open concept floor plans are really tricky for people sometimes. Also, those really small floor plans. A lot of people are like, okay, do I need staging for a $200,000 listing? The answer is yes, because typically that's under 1,300 square foot of a home. And a lot of people really have a hard time determining furniture versus the space. Now, when it comes to an open concept and you've got a dining room right next to the living room, don't just stage the living room. You're going to want to also stage the dining room to create this separation area. Because if not, for clients, they're going to come in and they're going to be like, oh, cute living room, but now what goes over there? And I know it seems like a common sense thing because we look at floor plans every single day, but we have to remember that our clients don't. And a lot of times they may be seeing a floor plan for the very first time, and they may not have that creative thought process to really see themselves in that place.
Comment I had is, it's not Target, it's Target.
It's Target. You're absolutely right. I'm terrible. This is why they won't sponsor me, clearly.
Okay, guys. Any other questions? No, McKaylee, you're welcome to stick around if you have the time, but thank you so much. We appreciate everything. And I personally am going to reach out for that staging checklist because I would love to get a copy of that.
Yes, definitely. If somebody wants to email me, I will put together one and you guys can send it out through the group. I'd be more than happy to help.
Okay, well then as director of operations, I volunteer as tribute. I will reach out and get that, and then everyone else can get it from workplace or just find me on one of the calls and I will have it. Don't come for it tomorrow, okay? We'll work on it, but I will get that for you guys. Will's like, come on, what do you mean? You're not gonna have it in 2 hours? What's wrong with you? You busy? Again, thank you, McKaylee.
Thank
Rainey, my love, you are here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Rainey is also one of our agents and has a knack for staging. So I know that McKaylee came on and gave us a lot of info, and I'd be curious, do you have anything else that you would like to throw out and contribute to the group?
Actually, I do. McKaylee, I love your energy. We would be fast friends. And you're just, where are you? You're in Brevard. Are you
I'm
in
in
Titusville?
I go to Titusville. I'll be there later today, actually. And I'm moving to Cocoa. So
Okay, I'm right off the beeline. But anyway,
perfect.
The decluttering is so huge that they don't understand what that means. Because negative space is so important because people don't want to see your stuff. They want to see the house. And the one thing, and I started this, I started my career, I was single, and I became very sensitive to photographs because there were so many crazy people. I have my clients take down all their personal photographs because strangers are coming in their house. And if they have little children, there's just a lot of weird people. So I try to get the personal stuff away. And like I said, clean surfaces, declutter, huge deal. It's just, you don't want their eyes to be stuck on the things. You want their eyes to be looking at the whole room, the size of the room, the scale of the room. They want to be able to put their furniture into the room. And if they have too many things that catch their eyes here and there. So cleaning up is huge and decluttering is huge. But you're awesome.
I appreciate it. And a big thing is too, is that I feel like even coming from an interior design background and into a staging background, I had to relearn about staging because even when I saw the professional photography, I was cluttering my own stages unexpectedly. So we don't just go in there and think, okay, well, this makes a beautiful centerpiece. I also stand and look at angles that photographers are going to shoot from and see if it's obstructing a view. See if it's obstructing another decoration that we put there. And that's something that really, when you're taking a look around the house, we all know how professional photographers do their angles at this point. Take a look at the big picture, literally. And sometimes a completely bare kitchen is better than a kitchen with canisters and tchotchkes out and stuff like that. It's funny because I totally contradict myself. A vacant home will sell better than a occupied home, because obviously occupied homes can easily be cluttered and be way more offensive to a buyer. So that's something to actually consider, that less is always more. Even when it comes down to staging, we have a very minimalistic, creative look to our particular stages, which helps people identify us pretty easily. And that's one of the biggest compliments that we get, is that we don't overclutter it, because our pictures truly look like magazine photos, because we've taken the time to see the clutter and remove the clutter. And I always give all clients a number one rule: nothing in the house is allowed to have a face. So that basically rules out all the family on the walls, all the pet pictures, all the weird cat figurines that your Aunt Marge has. So that way we solve all those issues by saying nothing in the face. And then also nothing smaller than my fist should be out, because it looks weird in pictures. It'll distract somebody trying to figure out what a figurine is in a photo than them actually looking at the listing when browsing Zillow and Realtor.com and MLS.
Good to know. Question: as a new agent, let's say I wanted to go out and get a bin, put some staging stuff in there, or just little knickknacks to enhance things, because I've been into homes where I've seen as a minimum, let's say, a nice wreath on the door and a tiny little patio set that was used in the dining area. And there was like a vase and flowers on there. In the kitchen, there were, like you said, some knickknacks, and there were some things that were smaller than a fist. And then above the mantle, there was like a gather sign. That was literally all that was in there. But let's say I wanted to go and start a bin. What would be a good price range if I were shopping at Ross and Target and Marshalls, things like that? What would be a good budget for me to try to stay around, would you suggest?
I always suggest, and this is literally the same thing from my days of doing property management, $500 per bin. So
Okay.
if you have listings, I would stick to about $500 per bin. Keep in mind that $500, even if you do 3 bins and you're spending $1,500, that will translate so far in gaining your commission just from the higher sale price of using these tiny little items. So, I mean, it is important to stick with neutrals. Try not to get too crazy, because when it comes down to mini models, you're just trying to create a serene, comfortable environment. You don't have to get too nuts with artwork or anything like that. So if you spend about $500 each, you are good to go. That could easily cover all of your towels. Shop bar stools right on Marketplace. Help your local economy and see what they have on there as well. It's another affordable way to do things. I needed a random 2-top table this morning. I didn't have one available in inventory, and now my guys are literally on Marketplace picking it up from somebody. I turn to it all the time. So shop inexpensively. Look at Goodwill. If you have a good eye for items, definitely go into Goodwill. Absolutely. I can walk in there and I can find gems amongst trashola and people are shocked that I can find it, but you got to kind of have that look for it. But if not, if you're instinctively just going into Ross with a $500 budget, you can nail it.
Okay, good. Lats, you have your hand up. Question.
No, I just wanted to add on. I just found out about this store. I don't know how long it's been out, but there's a store here in South Florida called At Home.
Yes.
And
Amazing.
$500 will get you a lot. A lot. I had to ban myself from the store for a little bit. I was going crazy.
We don't have one yet.
Oh,
Try to stop because it is amazing and their prices are fantastic. We're absolutely right. I can't wait for Brevard County to get one.
IKEA.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I think IKEA
I
for
just wanted to
some,
put that down.
Yes.
for some basic, like all white china type of stuff. Like they have some pretty cheap stuff in there in the kitchen section. Of course, it's all nice to walk through the showroom, but downstairs, guys, there's a lot of like cheap things, plates for like $1, $2. Here you go. Get 4 sets. Boom.
Really truly want to get into the nitty gritty of it, you can actually take yourself as a realtor and your EIN and go over to Wayfair. They have staging products that when I first started the company, that's what I was using because I was literally staging the homes by myself. So they have these sofas that break down into tiny pieces, and they have tables that are incredibly light that the legs come off that you can literally bring into a unit. So Wayfair is amazing when it comes down to looking for actual furniture pieces that somebody can single carry and still make a whole room out of. So if you have the budget and you want to expand it, go ahead and get yourself a Wayfair professional account and start shopping some of their staging items because it's pretty cool. You can literally knock out a whole stage by yourself just by assembling legs really quick.
That's amazing. Did not know, would never have known. So thank you for that tip. Carrie, was that a hand up or or just like, yeah?
So we just sold a home right at one of our rental houses. And so instead of using a bed, because, we're thinking, oh, do we really, but the bedrooms are weird. So we just used a blow-up bed on top of a blow-up bed with a headboard and literally just put a bed skirt on the bottom blow-up bed, put a, bedspread on the top blow-up bed, and you really wouldn't have known. Once it's on there, there's a headboard there, there's 2 nightstands. And then the other thing is we staged the closets because the closets were kind of weird. And so I made sure to hang up like some children's clothes in the other closets. And then in the master, I put some shoes, and we really think it made a difference. It really looked good when you walked in.
Those are all excellent ideas. I know that I get tagged literally every day in the TikTok video where somebody makes a bed out of the folding tables.
Yeah, I've seen that.
For true hacks out of there. Somebody literally just goes over
I saved that TikTok.
Coke cans. So when you've got the gross teenager with all those empty Coke cans in his room, the mom literally staged and threw bedding over all these Coke cans after stacking them up. So there's definitely really creative ways to get this done.
Nice. I like that. Okay, guys. Any other questions, comments, anything you can think of for now? We have McKaylee's contact information, so you can always reach out to her outside of this call. But for now, any questions? No? Again, I think this has been absolutely amazing. I've taken plenty of notes here, and I've been delegated as tribute to get that staging checklist from you and your team. So I will work on that as soon as we wrap up. But again, thank you, Rainey. Thank you, McKaylee. Thank you, Susan. You guys have been phenomenal. And for everyone else, if you guys have a topic that you want us to cover, just email me, reach out to myself or to Joe, and let's make it happen. Okay.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.